Good morning students. In this video lecture we would see the hysteresis curve. We would study the hysteresis curve, and in the previous video lecture we have seen what is the cause of magnetism in the metals, in the materials, in the substances, and we have discussed that in atoms we know that electrons spins on its own axis and it is also do the circular motion, and basically the it is treated like a current carrying circular loop when it revolves around its own axis and when it rotates in a circular orbit, though so it can be treated like a current carrying loop, and because of this there is a magnetic moment, there is a magnetic dipole moment, and we have seen that in atom there are many number of electrons, and in some materials the net magnetic moment because of all the electrons is zero, and that type of materials is called diamagnetic materials. But in some materials there is a net magnetic moment because of the electron which is revolving in the circular orbit and also spinning in its own axis. So because of this there is a net magnetic dipole moment, and atom we can say can be treated like a small bar magnet as we have discussed in the previous video lecture, and these type of materials are, we can say, in which there is a net magnetic moment is called either paramagnetic or ferromagnetic, because this particular topic ferro and paramagnetism material was reduced in the syllabus, so we would not get in detail in the particular topics. So we have seen that two definitions, two quantities which are I and H. This is the intensity of the magnetization and this is the intensity of the magnetizing field, and we have discussed these two quantities. Now for the ferromagnetic, and in ferromagnetic materials, so we would get a brief idea about ferromagnetic, para and dia, and para I have already told you, and in paramagnetic materials, in paramagnetic materials the atoms, there is a net dipole moment, and for a single individual atom, and all the atoms behave like a small bar magnet, but there is no net magnetic dipole moment. If we take a particular size, if you take a material of a particular size, so because of all the atoms which is behaving like a small bar magnet, there is a no net magnetic dipole moment because they are randomly aligned in such a way, there is a no net magnetic dipole moment for whole of the material. And in both, in either we talk about paramagnetic material or ferromagnetic material, the case is same, but the alignment of magnetic dipole moment, we can say alignment of atom net direction of magnetic dipole moment is different. They are different. In ferromagnetic there are domains. Domains are regions. Domains actually are regions in which we can say this is a material. Ferromagnetic. This is the ferromagnetic material, and it is made up of atoms, and we know that atoms of ferromagnetic materials they can be taken as a small bar magnet, and there is a small magnetism because of that atom, and as we are saying that in ferromagnetic there are domains, it means there are regions in which all the magnetic dipole moments are aligned in a particular direction, just like this. If we divide this material into four parts, there are four regions, and we can say in these regions the atoms are aligned like this, in this way. So in this region all the dipoles or all the atoms we can say align like this way, and in this region these are the regions, and if the atoms are aligned like this way, if the dipole moment are aligned like this way, in the regions which are just adjacent to it, the dipole moment would be aligned in anti-parallel direction, we can say. So the net dipole moment, there is a no net dipole moment in this vertical direction, and if we talk about this, so we can say the net, if they are aligned in this direction, so they could be aligned in this way. So the net dipole moment is 0 because the dipole moment of this is cancelled out by this reason, the dipole moment of this region is cancelled by this reason. So there is no net dipole moment because of this ferromagnetic material. But if we take the individual reason, if we consider the individual reason, we can see that there is a net dipole moment. There is a net dipole moment here also because all the dipoles are aligning in the same direction. So for this particular reason, there is a net dipole moment in this direction. There is a net dipole moment in this direction. But the dipole moment of this region is cancelling out by this region. Dipole moment of this region is cancelling out by this region. So there is no net dipole moment for, if we talk about whole of the material, it is 0. So we can say the M net is 0. It means it is unmagnetized. We can say this is not magnetized because we have not placed this material in any external magnetic field. But in paramagnetic, this domain is not available in the paramagnetic substances. The dipole are aligned, the dipoles are there, but magnetic dipoles are there obviously, but they are aligned in the random direction, and the net dipole moment is also 0 here obviously. And when we place the magnetic field, these domains either shift or the boundaries of the domain either shift, means the region, this region could be greater than this region, then we can say there is a net movement. You can see if there is equal regions, there is a net dipole moment is 0, and if this boundary shift, so we can say this region and this region could be greater, and then there is a net dipole moment. So this is the case of ferromagnetic material, or we can also say all the dipoles in all the regions could be aligned in the same direction, and there is a net dipole moment. So there are two ways in which the ferromagnetic materials could be magnetized. One is shifting of boundaries. This can be say the shifting of this boundary of the domain, and second one is domain or the regions or the domains could be aligned in the direction of the external magnetic field. This is the ferromagnetic case, and the ferromagnetism, the magnetic field, magnetization of the ferromagnetic is far more than the paramagnetic magnetization. It is far more than the ferromagnetic materials, and they are magnetized strongly, and the susceptibility Xm is very large. For greater than 1, and for paramagnetic it is greater than 1 simply, and for diamagnetic we have already told that for diamagnetic susceptibility is negative. And we have seen that X of M was I by H. We have defined susceptibility, it is the ratio of intensity of the magnetization upon intensity of the magnetizing field intensity. ठीक है. So xm is equal to I by h, and from here we can say I equal to xm h, and it is a vector, it is also a vector, and if this is negative, it means direction of I is opposite to the direction of h. It means the magnetization, it means the magnetic dipole moment, because I is what? I was m by v, m by v. So we can say that if I is opposite to h means external field. If the dipole, because this is the direction of magnetic dipole moment. So we can say that the direction of the net magnetic dipole moment in case of diamagnetic material is opposite to the external magnetic field. It means inside the diamagnetic materials, the net field of the magnetic material when it is placed in the external magnetic field is less than the external magnetic field. But for the para and ferromagnetic material, it is greater than, because in that I is in the direction of, because xm is positive, so I is in the direction of h. It means both the fields are in the same direction and the net field is added. That's why the net magnetic field inside the para and ferromagnetic material is greater than the external magnetic field. But in case of dia, it is lesser than the external magnetic field. Now this is some description, and the ferromagnetic material loses their property when we heat with temperature. Ferromagnetic materials loses their magnetism, this domain property, when we heat this ferromagnetic material, and as temperature increases, this ferromagnetism property decreases. Means it is tending towards being a paramagnetic material, and at a particular temperature, this ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic materials, and that particular temperature is called Curie temperature. So Curie temperature is that temperature for the ferromagnetic material at which a ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic, means it start behaving like a paramagnetic material, means its magnetism would be very small and there is no domain formation. There is elimination of domain, we can say, but there is net dipole moment when we place in the magnetic field. It could behave like a paramagnetic material. Now we are going to understand the graph in between I, which is intensity of the magnetization, and H, which is intensity of the magnetizing field. It is the intensity of the magnetizing field, means external field, and it is intensity of the magnetization, means internal field, because of the alignment of the net magnetic dipole moment. This is for ferromagnetic material. We are going to discuss this IH curve for ferromagnetic material. So when there is H equal to 0, so this is here we are talking about at this point, when H is equal to 0, means external intensity of the magnetizing field is 0, means we are not providing any external field. In that situation, we know that the net magnetic dipole moment, yeah, we can say the net intensity of the magnetization, net intensity of the magnetization for the ferromagnetic material is 0. So at H equal to 0, I is also 0. And as we start providing H, means external intensity of the magnetic field, the magnetism start inducing in the ferromagnetic material, and the magnetic dipoles start aligning in the direction of the external magnetic field. So we know that I by H equal to xm zeta m. So here we say that I is equal to zeta m into H, means we have seen here this is the relation is linear, but xm is not constant, because xm is what we are increasing H, but I increases not in the linear way. Xm is not constant, because all the dipoles start aligning, and the value of xm start increasing start changing and it is not constant. So the as h increases, I also increases, but not in the linear way. Not in the linear way. As h increases, I also increasing, but not in a linear way because xm is not constant. It is not constant when we magnetize the ferromagnetic material and when we increase the intensity of the external magnetic field, xm start changing also. And this graph is like this. Now, at a particular intensity, at the maximum value of intensity of the external magnetizing field, the magnetization of the ferromagnetic material completes. Means we can say all the magnetic dipole present inside the material has aligned in the direction of the external magnetic field. Now on increasing the h, there is no change in the I, there is no change in the intensity of the magnetization, so it saturates here. Now suppose we start decreasing h, means we start decreasing the external field intensity. So what happens to I in case of ferromagnetic material? When we start decreasing the intensity h, the value of h start decreasing towards 0, the I couldn't follow this path. Actually, the value of I decreases, but it does not become 0 when h is 0. When we decreases h from this maximum value, here h is maximum and I is also at this particular value of h, I is maximum, means it is as saturation and the ferromagnetic material is fully magnetized, and as we decreases the value of h, I decreases but it not becomes 0 where h is 0, means here the magnetic field becomes 0, external magnetic field intensity becomes 0. But here you are seeing that I is not 0. This portion, this value of I, which remains in the ferromagnetic material when the external magnetic field becomes 0, this is called retentivity or residual magnetism. This is called retentivity. This property is called retentivity and this is called residual magnetism. This is called retentivity. Yeah, we can say residual magnetism. This property is called residual magnetism. This property is called residual magnetism. We are seeing here, you heard the word residue. Residue you heard the word in chemistry, and residue means होता है आपका जो चीज क्या होगी, रिमेनिंग है, रिमेन्स रह गए हैं, तो आफ्टर chemical reaction that part remains unreacted, that is called, we can say, residue. So यहाँ पर residual magnetism means on decreasing the external intensity of the magnetizing field, and when external field becomes 0, the internal intensity of the magnetization doesn't become 0. It means there is a value of I. This is the value of I which remains after removing the external intensity of the magnetic field. This is properties called residual magnetism, and the value of remaining intensity of the magnetization is called retentivity. Now when we change the direction of the intensity of the external magnetic field, suppose if we place the ferromagnetic material and the external magnetic field intensity is in this direction, and these magnetic dipole are aligned in the direction of the external magnetic field, and after removing this value, after removing this field, when it becomes 0, this dipole alignment could not be as it was in the previous situation, and when we place a magnetic field just opposite to the field which we applied in the previous case. So we are now applying a field which is just opposite to the field which we have applied before. So we can see here the magnetization, the intensity of the magnetization also start decreasing. It means first of all it would come in the alignment which it was before magnetization. So it would be, first of all it would become 0, so the magnetization would become 0, and after increasing H it could start magnetizing again, it could start again magnetizing, but in the direction of the H. Now it could start magnetizing in the direction of the external magnetic field H, which was in the second case, and at a particular value of H it could become saturated, means all the dipoles could be magnetized, and from here if we increase the H there is no change in the magnetization, it is constant from here further. And in the same way, if we did this intensity of the external magnetizing field 0, it could not become 0 again. There is some, you can see there is some residual magnetism remains, and the process would repeat, and this circle, this graph is completed here. And this is called retentivity. If this is called retentivity, and this value of H, is called coercivity. This value of H is called coercivity, means it is the value of intensity of the external magnetic field for which the magnetization, for which the residual magnetism could become 0, that is called coercivity. And the area of this graph, this is called the hysteresis curve. This curve of IS curve is called hysteresis curve. You are seeing here, and यहाँ भी आपको अंडर this curve, area of this curve represent the loss in energy per unit volume. Actually, materials are chosen by seeing the graph of particular material for application basis. This is very useful for choosing the material for a particular application where we want to use what we required. And you are seeing here for the when we want to make the permanent magnet, magnets, we know that for permanent magnets this retentivity must be very large, and also the coercivity must be very large, so that the residual magnetism after magnetizing the material, its residual magnetism will be very large value, and also coercivity must be very large, so that it cannot be easily demagnetized. We can say it could be demagnetized by the external field, and this is the main purpose of hysteresis curve. From here we can decide the permanent magnet, we can decide the material for different applications. So, and I think this chapter is now closed here, and we will now discuss the induction chapter in the next video lecture. So, thank you.